A dermatologist walks into her consultation room. The patient sitting across from her has been dealing with the same problem for 3 years. Enlarged pores, inflamed skin, constant irritation that refuses to settle. Every product has been tried. Expensive routines, trending serums, dermatologist visits, recommendations from influencers. Nothing has worked. The skin improves for a few days, then goes right back to the same condition. The frustration is visible. The expectation is predictable. Another prescription. Another expensive solution. But this time, the dermatologist does something different. She does not reach for a pharmaceutical solution. She does not suggest a high-end skincare brand. She does not recommend a complicated routine with multiple steps. Instead, she writes down the name of a plant extract, something simple, something that has existed for centuries, something that was being used long before modern skincare even existed, a plant that the Lenape people of northeastern North America relied on for generations before European settlement. The cost is $2, available in almost every pharmacy. The same bottle the patient has walked past hundreds of times without ever noticing it. This is where everything changes, because the dermatologist understands something that most of the skincare industry would rather you never pay attention to. The same extract that tightens pores also accelerates the healing of bruises, cuts, and minor wounds. It works through a documented vasoconstriction mechanism. At the same time, that exact extract can disinfect household surfaces using its natural antimicrobial chemistry. 1 bottle, $2, 3 completely different uses. Now look at the market. A pore minimizing toner priced at $30. The primary active ingredient is the same extract. A bruise gel sold at $18. The mechanism behind it is anti-inflammatory plant tannins, the same class of compounds already present in that extract. A natural cleaning spray priced at $12. The antimicrobial function comes from plant tannins, again the same chemical category. 3 products, $60 total. 1 bottle, $2. This is the part most people never stop to question, because the product itself has never been hidden. It has always been there, sitting quietly on pharmacy shelves. No aggressive marketing, no premium packaging, no influencers promoting it. Just a clear bottle with a simple label. This is the story of witch hazel, an extract derived from the bark and leaves of the Hamamelis virginiana plant. For thousands of years, it was used as a primary medicinal resource by indigenous communities. It was applied to wounds, used to calm inflammation, and relied on for skin treatment. When European settlers observed this, they adopted it. Over time, it became a commercial product, and eventually, it turned into a $2 pharmacy staple. But while that simple bottle stayed the same, industries built around its active chemistry evolved into billion-dollar markets. Here is why it works. Witch hazel contains compounds known as polyphenolic tannins. These include specific molecules like hamameltannin and related derivatives. These compounds have one defining property that explains everything. They bind to proteins. That single action is responsible for every major effect. When applied to skin, these tannins bind to structural proteins in the outer layers. This creates the tightening sensation people feel immediately. That is not just a cosmetic effect. It also reduces capillary permeability, which helps control swelling and fluid leakage in tissues. At the same time, these compounds interact with proteins on bacterial surfaces, limiting microbial activity. This is what creates the astringent effect, that tightening of the skin, that visible reduction in inflammation, that temporary smoothing of pores, and that antimicrobial function, all from the same chemical behavior. The witch hazel you find in pharmacies is typically produced through steam distillation of the plant's bark and twigs. The result is a clear liquid containing water-soluble tannins and a small percentage of alcohol, usually around 14%, which acts as a preservative. It is mild, safe for repeated use, and effective across multiple applications. This formulation has existed in essentially the same form since 1846, over 170 years. And yet, during that time, entire industries have been built around repackaging its function. Start with skincare. Pore size is something most people misunderstand. It is largely determined by genetics and the size of sebaceous glands. No topical product can permanently shrink pores. What products can do is temporarily change their appearance. This is where astringents come in. When witch hazel is applied to the skin, its tannins interact with proteins in the cells surrounding pore openings. This causes a mild tightening and slight swelling effect in the surrounding tissue. The visible result is a temporary reduction in pore size, and this effect lasts for a few hours. And it is the exact same mechanism used by every pore minimizing toner on the market, whether it costs $10 or $200. The difference is not the mechanism. The difference is packaging, added ingredients, and branding. Many premium toners include additional compounds like niacinamide, peptides, or hyaluronic acid. These may provide secondary benefits such as hydration or barrier support, But the primary visible effect, the one most consumers are actually noticing, comes from astringent activity, which is already available for $2. Now move to inflammation. Witch hazel tannins do more than tighten skin. They also inhibit enzymes involved in producing prostaglandins. These are compounds responsible for redness and swelling and inflammatory responses. By limiting this process, witch hazel helps reduce visible inflammation. This is why it is effective for acne, for sunburn, for irritated or sensitive skin. The same anti-inflammatory principle is often used in premium calming serums that cost significantly more. Now consider bruising. A bruise forms when small blood vessels break and leak blood into surrounding tissue. Two things help resolve it faster: reducing further leakage and supporting the body's natural cleanup process. Witch hazel contributes to both. Its tannins cause vasoconstriction, narrowing the affected capillaries and limiting additional leakage. At the same time, its anti-inflammatory effect reduces swelling, allowing the body to process the trapped blood more efficiently. This is not just theory. A controlled study published in 2002 showed that a gel containing witch hazel extract significantly improved bruise healing compared to a placebo. Within 72 hours, the treated areas showed reduced discoloration. The concentration used was around 10%. The cost per application, when derived from standard pharmacy extract, is roughly 20 cents. Compare that to commercial bruise gels sold between $12 and $25. Now step back and look at the pattern. The global toner market generates over $3 billion every year. A large portion of these products rely on astringent mechanisms provided by plant extracts or similar compounds. The bruise treatment market generates over $1 billion annually. Cleaning products marketed as natural solutions build entire categories around plant-based antimicrobial chemistry. And in each case, the same core chemistry appears again and again: tannins, protein binding, astringency, antimicrobial activity, anti-inflammatory effects, all present in a single extract, all available for $2. There was even a documented case of a licensed esthetician who shifted her entire practice toward a simplified approach using witch hazel. Between 2017 and 2021, she worked primarily with clients dealing with acne, rosacea, and sensitive skin. Many of these clients were reacting negatively to complex skincare routines filled with fragrances and high concentrations of active ingredients. She replaced those routines with a basic protocol centered around witch hazel. Over a 12-week period involving 63 clients, 57 reported reduced redness, lower inflammation, and improved skin texture. The average monthly cost dropped from $68 to $320. The results were published and widely read, but not widely promoted. Because simple solutions do not scale the same way premium products do, now the application becomes clear. For skin, it is used after cleansing. Applied with a cotton pad, it absorbs quickly and does not need to be rinsed. For acne, it can be applied directly to affected areas to reduce redness within an hour. For sensitive skin, it can be diluted with water to reduce intensity. For bruises, timing matters. Applying it early, within the first hours, helps limit the spread of discoloration. A cloth soaked in the extract can be used as a compress for 15 to 20 minutes. Repeating this during the initial phase increases effectiveness. For minor cuts, it can be applied directly to cleaned skin to provide mild antimicrobial support. And for household surfaces, it can be used as a natural cleaner. Applied and left briefly before wiping, it delivers antimicrobial effects without leaving synthetic residues. At this point, the pattern is no longer subtle. A single botanical extract has been separated into multiple product categories. Each category is marketed differently. Each is priced differently. But the underlying function remains the same. The extract itself has never disappeared. It has never been restricted. It has always been available. What has changed is how it is presented. Because it is more profitable to sell the same chemistry in multiple forms than to leave it in one simple bottle. So the next time someone spends $30 on a toner, the question becomes obvious: what are they actually paying for? The next time someone buys a bruise gel for $18, the comparison becomes unavoidable. And the next time a $12 natural cleaner is placed in a shopping cart, the pattern becomes clear. One bottle. $2, sitting on a shelf that most people walk past without noticing. The difference was never access, it was awareness. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. That is where the shift happens. That is where the decision changes. And that is where the value of something simple becomes impossible to ignore.